weekly gathering where I share from this book, The Secrets of Meditation and Inner Peace by Swami Kriyananda. And this week's secret is on contentment. So I'd like to share it with you and then share a little bit and an affirmation on this topic as well. The secret of meditation is affirming contentment rather than expecting God to do all the work of bringing you out of darkness into his infinite light and joy. You know, the yogis say that contentment is the supreme virtue. And I was intrigued. I was reading Paramahansa Yogananda's words recently, and he said, if you are not happy, if you haven't learned to be happy all the time amidst life's up and downs, you haven't learned to love God. And I was reflecting on that he was talking about contentment, that true contentment is active, right? It's not a passive thing. So when the yogis talk about contentment, it's living in that present moment that's behind the present moment, the eternal presence of God. You know, Yogananda in his poem Samadhi, which I encourage you if you have not read that. In fact, he said to memorize that poem and recite it every day. It's this beautiful mystical poem about the state of cosmic consciousness and how it's beyond words, and yet he gave us that touch of capturing that experience in words. And interestingly, he wrote that poem, speaking of contentment, on the New York City subway, what you would think to be one of the most mundane places, and yet he found underneath that the eternal presence of God. But I brought up that poem because he shared one line that has always been a deep inspiration for me. And the line is, "My newly wakened memory divine." You know, it's one of those paradoxes. The spiritual path is like a paradox the whole way, seemingly. But it's new, and yet it's a memory. It's old. And so if we can hold on to this thought, that knowing that we are not alone, that God's loving presence has ever been with us, is with us right now, and will always be with us, because God is beyond space, beyond time, right? It's a newly wakened memory divine. That's why the yogis and the great saints all give us this analogy of waking up from a dream. That just when you go through the harrowing nightmare of a dream and you wake up and you realize, oh, it was all just a dream. They're sharing with us that so it is the same for our existence, that as we wake up to our divine potential, we will realize that this all has been a dream. But you see, the way to wake up is through this attitude of contentment, of affirming that we're already in that. You know, as Yogananda said, you don't have to go out and acquire this joy. It's yours. God's love is yours. God's joy is yours. But we do have to battle the darkness. And contentment is one of the supreme tools on the spiritual path to cut through the mental debris of indifference, of sloth, of doubt, of dullness, that we constantly live in that dynamic state of eternity. So let's practice this together with an affirmation on contentment. I'm going to read to you first a little bit about the quality of contentment, and then I will share an affirmation which we can practice together. Contentment has been said to be the supreme virtue. Contentment means living to the fullest, the good of every passing moment. Above all, it means living behind the wish things were other than they are. And tell themselves, smile inwardly with God, knowing that life is His dream. Contentment is the surest way of drawing the very best out of every circumstance. So let's affirm together, Through life's mightiest, say it out loud with me, through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Again, say it out loud. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. A little softer. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. A little softer. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Now in a whisper, I'll still say it loudly, but you begin to whisper it. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. And now mentally, through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. One more time mentally. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Let's take a moment to bring our hands to our heart, holding God's peace in our heart, God's love in our heart, His joy and beauty in our heart, that we're perfectly contented in this present moment and in His eternal presence behind every moment, behind the little throb of our heart. Relaxing the arms down, lifting the gaze to the point between the eyebrows. Lifting the feeling of God's presence that you hold in your heart, inward and upward, offering it to the spiritual eye in a dynamic offering. Dynamic love, dynamic peace, dynamic joy. That even amidst all of the craziness in the outer world and your personal life, again affirm, through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. What we really want is that peace of God, the love and joy that are unconditioned by any outward change or circumstance. And as you meditate, let's listen again to the secret. The secret of meditation is affirming contentment rather than expecting God to do all the work of bringing you out of the darkness into His infinite light and joy. So let's affirm that contentment through life's mightiest storms. I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Now for a few minutes of silence, let's commune inwardly in that active, dynamic state of self-offering. Drawing the feeling nature inward and upward, offering it at the feet of the infinite, God's infinite light and joy at the point between the eyebrows. One last time affirming, through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Letting go of all the negative attitudes of wishing things were other than they were in your life. Acknowledging, accepting, and then offering up in gratitude as you affirm, through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. For I hold in my heart God's peace. Try to feel and visualize with every fiber of your being this affirmation. Go beyond the words, crush them to get to the spirit. Through life's mightiest storms, I am contented, for I hold in my heart God's peace. Now let's share this feeling of contentment, cradling God's presence of peace, love, and joy in our heart, radiating it out, left, right, above, beneath, in front of you, behind you, like a globe of fire expanding, filling your body of omnipresence, blessing your friends, family, loved ones, strangers, all life, all sentient beings, bringing the hands in front of the heart. Let's rub the palms together vigorously and acting as channels for the Divine Mother. Let's hold the palms up and chant Om 3 times. Om. Om. Thank you for joining me, friends. Namaste.